Hello, everybody. So I've been saying I'm going to do this for a while now on Twitch, and I am finally getting to it. So here is how I play Chang'e, the build that I personally use for my play style. That is something that I want to make very clear right from the get-go. This might not work for everybody. Um, some people might watch this and look at my build or how I play her and be like, oh, well, that's dumb or that doesn't make sense. Whatever, cool. You're entitled to that. But some people have tried her and have been like, I can't really figure out how people are so good with her. So maybe this will work because I know it's a little bit different than what is normally done, like what we saw in the big tournament that just happened where she kind of was highlighted for a little bit. And I was like, oh no, are there going to be a lot of like Chang'e players now? And there are more. I definitely see a lot more enemy Chang'es, but not as many as I was originally expecting. So yeah, anyways, with that all being said, let's get right into it. Before I get into build, I will show emblems. So this right here is my Chang'e emblems, level 55, and I use this magic worship. I used to use the Impure Rage ability, and I don't remember why I switched. I think I was just like, hey, let's see if we can make her even more powerful. And I guess I decided that it was. They're both great abilities, and also I will point out that before I had them unlocked, the mystery shop for buying equipment at a discount is still a great boost that you can get so you can get your build even faster. Perfect segue. Builds! I've been practicing Kufra, so he's right on top. I do like to try out other builds from Twitch viewers and friends and stuff, so if you notice some names and stuff in my builds, that's why they're there. So I do buy arcane boots, and for those of you who don't know what they look like or aren't good with names, it's the magic penetration boots to make her more powerful because I build a lot of mana regen items. So they are not in build for a reason, which I will get to shortly. So once I fully buy the arcane boots, I then buy the basic dagger, which builds both feather and windtalker, just for a little extra early game boost for the attack speed. So that way I can do a little extra poke damage and hopefully keep enemies back. As mage in a higher rank, I usually solo mid, so that way the rest of the team can go in jungle and farm side lanes, and so it's basically my job to protect middle turret and keep the enemy back. So once I get the basic dagger, I do a basic straight build for the first 5 items. I just fully build Calamity Reaper, Feather of Heaven, Windtalker, and then Holy Crystal and Ice Queen Wand. I will say that Windtalker is a new addition. I used to double build Feather and would go Feather, Holy Crystal, and then a second Feather. But I do like the crit chance and extra movement speed boost. It's a little different than the percentage boost that Feather and Ice Queen Wand give. So I think that helps. I don't know. But once I get to where I would buy Divine Glaive, this is why boots are not in my starter build or not in this build. I sell the boots and buy Divine Glaive, and it is much easier to scroll through the movement section, which is just one page. There is no scrolling. You just go and prioritize. In-game, there'll be a little prioritize button. And buy them, and then you can go back to your suggested build and prioritize just in order. Even though I know what items build up to each thing, sometimes in the heat of the game, I will buy the wrong item. So I still like to prioritize my items. It takes 2 seconds, and you can usually do it while you're jungling or farming when you know there's no enemy around for literally a second and a half. So, yeah, that's about all for the builds. Like I mentioned, you get movement speed boosts from Feather of Heaven, Windtalker, and Ice Queen Wand, so that's why I'm so comfortable selling boots. And she's just super, super agile. Quick little Chang'e. So we're just going to go into, I think, a custom practice to talk a little bit about her skills. Eee. Oh, I should have pointed out too, here we go. I use the sprint spell. Another good one to use would be Purify, so that way you can get out of CC, or if you're really ballsy or like to tower dive, Petrify, because then you can stun them, slow them, and ult, and just completely annihilate. So to start, I will go into the shop, go down to movement, and prioritize my boots, go back to my recommended so it's already ready, and exit out. So now I've bought my basic boots, and I always upgrade skill 1 first. So your first 4 upgrades are going to be, or I'm sorry, skill 2 first. Skill 2, skill 1, and then skill 3. And then the basic upgrading prioritization, I guess is what you would call it, after that is obviously ult always. And then you want to prioritize skill 1 over skill 2. Even though the extra shield is nice, you want to be dealing power, especially with this build. Another thing I want to point out with my build is I have very high cooldown rates. I don't buy anything for cooldown reduction, really. Calamity, I believe, has some, but it's not a ton, and there's a little bit from emblems. So basically, I kite as much as possible and just stay away, and her S2 shield really helps me not take damage. Another thing is jungling. A lot of people don't jungle as mage. You need to jungle as Chang'e. That's just how it is. And you can pretty much solo jungle once you are level 2. Once you have both S2 and S1 to shield and slow, you can solo jungle fairly easily. You'll still need help with buffs, but yeah. So then, before I start building Calamity, the only thing I buy out of order is the basic dagger. Once I get that, I just do a straight build, like I said, and the dagger is just for an early game attack speed boost, so you can really push the enemy back. Another thing I do is I wait for S1 to be off cooldown to slow the enemy, and then ult. That is something I almost always do unless I am just running in to try to save a teammate. Then I will come in guns a-blazing, ult flaring, and hopefully kill whoever is attempting to kill my teammate. For me, mobility is greater than shield, like I said, which is why I prioritize her S1 and also use the sprint battle spell so that way I can run and go and help my teammates. That's something I do. Some people call it abandoning lane. I call it being a good teammate. And I don't abandon lane. I will still go back and clear minions. That's just how mobile Chang'e is. I missed my S1. Sad. Ta-da. Normally, he would have been on the other side of turret, and I would have had to turret dive for that kill. Django is one of the only heroes I will turret dive with, due to her shield and mobility, and I will usually only turret dive when I am ulting. Yeah, so those are her skills. She's awesome. I basically said all of my little skill tips and tricks already, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't really see a point in finishing a practice game, so I will just end it off with some of my final little tips. Early solo game jungle is definitely something I cannot say enough. You need jungle to get her build because she has some insane power if you do that. If you hide in the bush, if you notice that the enemy team is going for Lord, you can get easy Lord kills if you position yourself right. So there are no enemy heroes in the way of your ult, and you can just steal the Lord when he is at low health. Use advanced targeting like I have set up here, so that way you can target the turret. So if it's getting close to the end game and you just need to end it, then you can just target the turret and end it. She's super fast. She can kind of be played like a marksman. I have filled marksman role, not using my marksman build, just using this build, and taken out turrets and see, this is some turret action while our computer friend is distracted by that guy. We can be targeting the turret, and ta-da! What perfect timing. So I guess we will end it since we made it down here so fast. Because why not? Whee. I believe Moonton says, like, suggests, I've seen it as a tips and tricks to use her ult to clear minion waves. I very rarely do that. I try to save it for enemies. But again, when it gets to the end game, you will do things that you don't normally do to end it and get that win. Like that, I ulted without having him slowed via S1. So, yeah. And there is Chang'e. Super easy, super fun. I wish I knew what my endgame stats were with full build. I'm kind of curious. Maybe I should have done a little more jungling. But I also didn't want it to be too long of a video. I made my points. She's super easy to play if you just remember to jungle and get your build. Another thing is the whole not needing boots thing. That's something I don't know if everybody has thought of or whatnot, but I don't usually look at these types of builds, and I know a lot of times it's not actually like what people are using. It's, I guess, like Moonton will, I don't know, prioritize ones that they think should be that way. I don't know. But that is the wonderful Chang'e. So, if you have made it this far, congratulations. You are wonderful, and I appreciate you so much. I think I'm going to get ready now to go live and play a few games over on Twitch. So, yeah, this is going to be going up after the fact, though. So, maybe I'll have seen some of you there. I will see everybody at some point on the YouTubes in the future because I have no real set uploading schedule. It'll be a miracle if this gets uploaded tonight. So bye.